Thank you very much. That's right. So, Gary, it is my honor to be able to give you your award. But before I do, actually, it was really Elliot's responsibility. He outranks me. But I explained to Elliot, I said, listen, Elliot, Gary doesn't like you, you know? So he realized, and I'll be here all week, Terry. So I don't want to read Gary's whole bio because he's a very accomplished man. But I do want to just briefly touch on it before we bring him up. And goes on to say that Gary LaBarbera has served since 2009 as the president of the Building and Construction Trades Council of Greater New York, an organization comprising local affiliates of 15 national and international unions representing 100,000 working men and women in New York City. Within weeks of assuming the position, Mr. LaBarbera embarked on ambitious negotiations for project labor agreements to provide labor cost savings to advance major public and private projects at the risk of stalling due to economic recession. It's been very successful. These efforts have resulted in project labor agreements for over $15 billion in public works, school construction authority, and $300 million in excess. So Gary's also been responsible for over $25 billion of private work. There's been more inclusivity in the building trades today under Gary's leadership, forging alliances with community groups, including Align and New York Communities for Change. Prior to his position, Gary was the president of the Central Labor Council. He was also the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Joint Council 16. He was also the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Local 282. He's a graduate of the Cornell University Industrial Labor Relations Program in 1994. He was instrumental in starting Helmets to Hard Hats, vice president of the New York City Central Labor Council, New York State AFL-CIO, vice chair of the New York Building Congress. So what I mean? It's a long bio. And these are just bullet points, right? Very accomplished man. Under the leadership of Gary LaBarbera, the building trades have gained strength while under constant attack of greedy developers. What else could be said about Gary LaBarbera? He's a true leader. He's probably the hardest working man in the building trades. More importantly, he's our friend. He's the honoree tonight. And with no further ado, I give you the president of the building trades, Gary LaBarbera.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to make my comments as brief as possible, because I know it's getting late and everybody's got an early morning, but I would like to just say a few things. First of all, I want to thank Chris Erickson for asking me to get involved with the Working Theater. I'll be very candid. I really wasn't that familiar with the Working Theater other than having conversations with Chris over the years and some of you in the room. I want to thank Ray for that lovely and very most kind introduction. And I think one more time, I think we should acknowledge those performances tonight because that was really a great show. There's no question about that. So let me just say a few things about, I think, the importance of the Working Theater, the role the Working Theater could play, and a little bit about some things that were mentioned tonight about public discourse that we've seen unprecedented levels of in every level throughout our country, and certainly in New York City in the construction industry. I think that the Working Theater really can play an important role in bridging the gap between labor and community and the arts. And I think that the arts are a wonderful way of expressing the stories of working people, and in particular, expressing the stories of construction workers, both men and women in this city, and the challenges that they face on a daily basis on the job site. So I think it will play a vital role in the future, and I can tell you on behalf of the building trades, and you can see there are a lot of building trades representatives here, it will be our pleasure to continue to be involved and more involved in the working theater. Let me just make a couple of quick comments because I believe we're all like-minded in this room when it comes to working people, when it comes to equity in the workplace, when it comes to respect in the workplace, when it comes to dignity in the workplace, when it comes to good wages and health care and retirement security, that workers really only find a path to the middle class through a union job in this city and in this country. And that's a fact. That's a fact. As was pointed out, we've seen movements happen. We've seen kids, high school students, walking out of their schools to protest violence in their schools. We've seen the Me Too movement, Time's Up movement. Many of us in the construction industry are wearing a pin tonight. It's called Count Me In. That's the movement you got to look for in the construction industry in New York City, I can tell you that. And what the movement is very simple. It's the same exact concept that students are walking out of schools, that women are standing up. It's about solidarity. It's about empowering the workers to take a role in their own futures. And I have to tell you, this movement that started within the construction industry really began only 4 or 5 months ago. And it began with, as Ray eloquently put, a greedy developer on the west side of Manhattan, in the Hudson Yards, related companies. And in the last several months, this is very early on, I can tell you as of last Sunday, our social media people have told us that this movement has over 710,000 followers. And we expect it will be over 1 million followers in short order throughout the whole country. I had a conversation yesterday with the national president of the building trades who informed me that in 5 other cities, the building trades want to start a Count Me In movement. There's something going on. There's something going on in this country. There's something going on in the construction industry. There's something that I haven't seen in 20 years, and many of us that have been around haven't seen this for 20 years. 2 weeks ago, over 10,000 construction workers poured into Times Square to protest and demonstrate against this greedy developer. And I can tell you, I've had the great honor of speaking before many thousands of people before. But the energy that I felt and other speakers felt at this event was actually palpable. You could feel the energy from the rank and file members, women and men, black, white, Hispanic, right across the board, all together in a common cause, all standing up for their and fighting for their own futures. And that is the key to the future of organized labor in this city and in this country, and it's really, frankly, the key to the future of our country, is that in these trying times and difficult times, at every level, people have to stand up, and we heard some great inspirational songs, stand up, because if you don't stand up, you're gonna be walked all over, right? You have to stand for something. And there's a saying that I always like to say, someone very near and dear to me said it to me when I was a young man, who said to me, it is always better to live on your feet, to die on your feet than to live on your knees. And I believe that. It is always better to die on your feet than live on your knees. And I will tell you, that's what the rank and file and the building trades in New York City is doing. They are fighting the fight on their feet. They are going to continue to fight this fight, and you're going to see and hear more about this movement. So I hope, and it's my hope, that in some way and in some measure, I'm sure there are ways, as this movement continues to grow, that we can integrate this into the working theater and spread this message through the working theater. I think it's a wonderful fit. So I really do. I think it's a wonderful fit. So listen, I wanna just conclude. I wanted to keep it 5 minutes. Really, it's a great honor for me to be recognized by the working theater. Like I said, I think tonight was a very special event, a beautiful venue with beautiful people, all like-minded. And let me wish the working theater nothing but the best. And again, commit to you that the building trades, we want to be more supportive, more involved with the working theater. And I really think that there's a real synergy. And I'd like to have the opportunity through the working theater, to tell the story of this movement as it develops, because it is a movement that is developing and will continue to grow. Where it started in New York City, like I said to you, this will become a national movement in the building trades, and it's going to be something that everyone, whether they're leadership, rank and file members, we say in this movement, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about us. And I think that's the way I'd like to end this tonight. It's about us. So thank you very much. I appreciate everyone coming. I thank all the locals in the building trades for being here and supporting the working theater and supporting me. Thank you. God bless. God bless America. Have a great night and get home safe.